Good morning. It is February 1st, 2026 on a Sunday, and I have been learning a lot about the finance system a little bit, a lot about foreign trade, a lot of foreign policies, sentiments. Also been learning a lot about silver, gold, the history, the purpose, the uses, the importance, and our US dollar. Um, it is very so much to say about what's going on. I am going to try my best to talk about it the best way I can explain it for myself and maybe for you too. So, the US economy is in a fragile state. Our debt is greater than our GDP. It's only to increase more. Uh, the US economy is supported by US citizens buying US goods and services. Um, we do produce oil and gas for the world. We're one of the largest. We're not the largest, but we're one of the largest. We also export aircraft, aerospace, military weapon, military equipment, heavy industry equipment. We also export soy, corn, beef, and a few other things. Um, but those don't really contribute too much to our GDP. It's mostly us spending money and stuff like that. And since our US dollar is fragile, it's only going to get weaker and weaker. Uh, that should tell you that our nation's in trouble. If that's not giving you any concern or stress, then maybe you're just not that bright. But that's okay. I'm here to help you. Because I'm going to explain to you why you should be a little bit more concerned about your money. Um, United States is being attacked quietly financially by many nations. Many nations are beefing up their economy and their dollar in response to just not only United States the the insecurity with the U.S. dollar, but it's also just with how the world's been running lately. I mean, Russia still with Ukraine war, China wanting Taiwan, Israel bombing, some of Europe, the United States not only took Venezuela, we want to put more military bases and Navy ships into Greenland's territory, and we've been talking about getting Canada. I'm not sure if that's a joke or not. Who knows? But at this point, you cannot really be sure. And then Trump's aggressive tariffs, threats, but also acts. All these things are not helping. What's also not helping is that the United States is also in a state of chaos with its political leaders and citizens, with federal agents, ICE, not only deporting U.S. citizens and detaining them, but they also have been detaining and harassing other citizens. Some of our allied nations' citizens have been detained and harassed and kind of attacked by ICE agents. Germans, there's been incidents with some German citizens being detained, uh, forced to strip and wash in cold water, and were interrogated. Some were just detained and then deported. Others were severe. But there are many cases like this for Germans, UK citizens, other nationalities that tour United States are no longer wanting to. And I'll explain why. A lot of these nations have been telling their citizens to be watchful, to take caution when traveling to the United States. That your passport and your paperwork may not guarantee you entry. Now, this is major because a lot of United States cities depend on tourism. Los Angeles, where I'm located. My job depends on tourism. Uh, Las Vegas has seen a drop in tourism, not just domestically, but also foreignly. Canadians have not been visiting us. And it's been reported by Disneyland, Las Vegas, and other tourist industry heavy companies that they have lost money and visitation due to tariffs and just the political climate of our nation at this moment. Um, if people aren't feeling it, they're gonna be feeling it soon because despite tourism diminishing, a lot of our allied nations are now building new supply chains. They're building these supply chains because of the chaotic nature of these tariffs and Trump. With his mood swings and his tariffs being placed, it is affecting and making these companies and nations adapt to change their mind. Because with this unpredictability, how are we going to get our supply? How are we going to get this to make that? How are we going to get this over there? Well, there are solutions. They partnered up with other allied nations to work around the United States tariffs and to go and make money elsewhere. They are also building up infrastructures within. If they can't get the supply from the United States, then they'll make the supply themselves. So, yeah, with a lot of nations building up their infrastructure, building up their economy, and not just trying to invest in themselves and make deals with other allied nations that the United States are not part of, but they have been also buying gold and silver. A lot of nations are now buying gold and silver in huge demands because of the weakening of the United States dollar. And not just the weakening United States dollar, a lot of them just don't like us anymore. We are very, very much turning our allies' backs against us. And it is going to make us suffer and bleed because we depend a little bit on them. We don't make a lot of things for the world. China is the factory, right? But we do, we do supply aircraft, we supply technology, we supply beef, corn, soybean, some major produce, right? If our allied nations are now boycotting our produce, our services like Amazon and Netflix, they are, by the way, have been doing that. There's an app in the Europe sector that have been getting a lot of attention. It's an app that allows users to scan barcodes in grocery stores and other items, right? And it will tell them whether this is a U.S. owned or made product. And if so, they will point you to different alternatives that you can find in store. So, and this is a very popular app, by the way. This is a very popular app in Denmark, UK, and other places in Europe. It's getting more traction in Norway and other places as well. So, what does that tell you? It's telling us that our allies no longer are going to support us. They no longer will care and going to try to find a way to separate themselves from us. If it means making deals with nations and cutting the United States out, if it means starting to beef up their economy by buying gold and silver, if it means starting to become producers and manufacturers themselves, they are now learning that it is best to just be self-supportant and self-reliant and not depend too much on the United States or anyone, really. That even includes China and Russia. They're now even worried about them. So, there's that. We have nations buying gold and silver, beefing up their economies by any means possible, trying. Oh, another thing. Japan, one of our friendliest and biggest allies, our biggest U.S. bond holders, aka our debt, is starting to sell more of it. They sold a lot. They sold a good amount, not their entire amount, but they sold a good portion at the end of at the end of January. Not at the end, but towards the end, they did sell a good amount of their bonds, and they're gonna keep doing that because the yen is in trouble, and they don't want their nations to also collapse. So what they're doing is they're gonna start selling U.S. bonds slowly and start trying to strengthen their economy, like other nations are doing. But this one holds a lot of our U.S. debt. Slowly, it's selling it off. Gradually, it's still gonna affect us, whether if it's slow or not. So, ooh, that's just a lot. And I'm shifting my gears because my job depends on tourism. And that's no good because, not gonna lie to you, last year, my coworkers are telling me it's kind of slow. Huh. Interesting. And with this new news that I'm getting, it's gonna be a little bit slower this year. This summer coming up, where I work at, I'm not expecting a lot of people coming from different places. So I'm gonna have to rethink my strategy. I would like to talk about it, but maybe in a different video if this video gets more views and likes and stuff. And I want to talk about an example of a deal that is going on that has passed. It is Canada and South Korea. They have made a deal with a company from South Korea called Hawon Oceans that are going to be making submarines for Canada. The deal consists on a new steel beam facility being made in I forgot what area, but it's in Ontario, something, Canada, and Hawon Oceans are gonna buy. I forgot what the company, but the Canadian company, they're gonna buy more of their steel goods, obviously at a little bit of a discounted price, and the Canadian-based steel company is going to pay back Hawon Oceans in a timeline of 10 years of 3% of the revenue that is being produced by the steel mill. So that's a good deal. It's like a 375 billion deal in that regards, in that range. So yeah, it's a big deal for Canada and South Korea, and the United States is not getting any of that whatsoever. So yeah, and you think that's not a lot, that's not so much. So what, they have a new steel mill beam factory, so what, they're getting some submarines, we still have a huge armada, we still have this and that. The point is that Canada, our neighbor, is beefing up their defenses, so they're not going to try rely on U.S. defenses, and they're going to try to be producers of steel more. They're putting more into steel production. If you think they're the only nations that are going to start doing these type of deals, these type of things, you guys are dead wrong. Our allies are attacking us quietly financially, making moves to help themselves, so that, I mean, I can't blame them. You can't blame them. when the U.S. dollar is weakening and you have a government that's being antagonistic to the world, you can't help but also wonder, like, why am I still here? This is only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get accelerate, really, in the upcoming years, until we get a new president. If we get a new president, and if we get a president that's competent, which is highly unlikely, we're only going to see the United States downfall accelerate even more. And I'm not trying to be a part of that. So I don't know what you want to do with this information or what I just told you. Hopefully this leads you to more of a rabbit hole. I'm just a guy who's broke, 25, not trying to be broke forever. So I'm just trying my best to educate myself. And if this means by making videos and talking about it just for myself and others, so be it. But This is a lot of information. If you're still here, please like and subscribe. If not, then I guess it's whatever's. But yeah, I'm shifting my gears. I'm gonna have to look at ways to make money that isn't dependent on tourism, that isn't dependent on the United States. Really, I'm gonna have to find a way to thrive in this new economy that's coming. And a lot of citizens in my nation are not aware and not really educated, and it's kind of like insane. But I'm gonna take advantage of the dodo birds. I'm gonna let them be dodos, and I'm gonna be myself, and I'm gonna try to just stay quiet about certain things because a lot of people here just don't care. I mean, I told some of my friends, some of my coworkers about certain things, and they look at me with like nothing behind those eyes, and I'm just like, I'm wasting my time. Wasting my time telling people. I'll just make videos, talk about it to myself. Anyways, goodbye. Have a nice Sunday. Good luck.